Welcome back to Elevate18 and episode 5 of our weekly video series. And we're here today to talk about business strategy. Now, strategy is a bit of a buzzword. We hear it every day, but it's a pretty vague and fluffy term. So what is business strategy? Let's think about it as your plan of action, or your game plan if you like. It's the how you are going to achieve your vision, achieve your view of the future. And if vision is your destination, then strategy is your roadmap. So we're clear on what strategy is, but we still have the problem of how to set strategy. What process do you follow to actually set a decent business strategy? Because if you make strategic decisions in a vacuum without reference to a framework and a structure, you'll end up with an overall business strategy that isn't very effective. And so that's what I want to take you through today, the various segments that should fit together to give you a framework for developing your business strategy. There are 4 stages of strategy that we have up here. Firstly, we have looking in, and next we have looking out. Thirdly, we have building up, and then finally, breaking down. So the first stage is looking in. This means taking a good hard look at your business as it is now. Because if you don't do this, you run the risk of repeating previous mistakes and not clearly seeing the opportunities within your business. An obvious exercise is a SWOT analysis. There's great value, I think, in doing this when you're setting strategy. Or you might map out your entire customer journey to determine whether there are any structural problems that are limiting your growth. And then segmentation of your customers and product service groups to work out what areas of your business are really profitable. And a wins-fails analysis perhaps of the previous period to determine what worked and what didn't, and the list goes on. So there's plenty of exercises that you can undertake to get a clear picture of where your business is placed right now, but you must start the strategic process with this step. So the second stage of strategy is looking out. Think of it as looking out the window at your market. And the object of this step is to get a thorough understanding of your market position, your market conditions, and exactly where your business fits in. So a value curve analysis is a good exercise to undertake in this section, where you map out the strengths of your competition against your own to determine where you might have an advantage. Market position we spoke about are these types of exercises that involve getting a proper grasp of the market competition rather than just butting heads with them. And then demand landscape analysis is another option, defining where the easiest paths to growth are. So these first 2 stages in developing your strategy are really important here, both looking in and looking out, because they'll shape the way that you look at the next 2 stages. So the third stage is building up, and what you are trying to achieve in this process is build a set of strategic steps that will take you from where you are now to where you want to be in the future. And as with vision, this works both for short-term and long-term strategic development. So to reach your vision, you might determine that you need to expand into another geographic territory or region. That could be step 1. Another step could be that you need to develop a service division perhaps for your equipment sales. Or maybe you actually need to close down a section of your business to focus on the sections that provide value. Maybe restructure your sales team to boost its effectiveness. Whatever these steps are, and they will vary wildly from business to business, the object is to get a big picture view of the 5 or 6 strategic planks that will get you from where you are now to where you want to be. And then the final step is typically where most strategic development is done, but it must follow the first 3 steps. And the objective here is to break down your big picture strategic steps into bite-sized pieces, actual individual strategies that can be implemented. For instance, where you have a strategic step to expand into another region, you might break this down into some individual strategies, such as market research and new supplier alliances and the addition of some region-specific product lines. But rather than getting bogged down in the everyday stuff and having your strategy determined by the whirlwind, you actually have some clear direction around what strategies are important and need to take priority. So that's a structured 4-stage approach that you can use to develop your strategy, looking in, looking out, building up and breaking down. And you can approach each stage however it suits your business, but looking at it in this way will help you to develop a strategy that is coherent, it's logical, and therefore much easier to execute.